believe we can seize this future together because we are not as divided as our politics suggests. We're not as cynical as the pundits believe. We are greater than the sum of our individual ambitions, and we remain more than a collection of red states and blue states. We are and forever will be the United States of America.
Now comes the hard part. Barack Obama holds the White House, fending off the Republican challenge in all but a couple of swing states. The Democrats also retain control of the Senate, but with Republicans holding on to the House of Representatives, does America also face 4 more years of gridlock? A quick check on what markets make of it now. The dollar index is slightly lower, down around 0.25%, tracking the move lower in US Treasury yields. The euro back above 128.5. European stocks pointing to a higher open this morning, although the upside might be limited as investors fret over the fiscal cliff in Washington. Out now to Daiwa Capital Markets European economist Tobias Blackner. Tobias, what's your reaction?
Well, I mean, certainly I think it's a good outcome, I think, in terms of for domestic American politics. But, I mean, what is more important is that we still have that split, obviously, I think, between the Congress on a Republican-dominated, and then, obviously, we have the White House in the Democrats' hands. So that means still that we have no certainty for the markets what concerns the fiscal cliff. And I think that will now, obviously, be the dominant topic within the next 2 months, whether or not they will manage now to overcome the fiscal cliff.
But, of course, you know, both Obama and Romney, they're both, there's lots of talk about reaching out across the aisle, putting the people before the politics, etc. It sounds like you don't buy it, and the markets are still pretty sceptical too.
Well, we had that voices exactly before, I think, already, and I think it didn't really work out, or only at the very last minute. So I think this time much more is at stake. Obviously, we know that what a fiscal contraction of that size would mean if it were really to hit, I think, the American economy and hence also the global economy next year. So I think I'm not sure. Now I think the next probably couple of days and weeks will show whether or not they are really willing, I think, to overcome jointly that massive challenge, or whether eventually some fiscal contraction will come. And I think that becomes more and more the mainstream thinking, I think, here in the markets, that some kind of fiscal contraction will eventually come in the US, and hence I think that will also slow growth in the global economy as a whole.
But let's assume, let's look at this glass half full. Let's assume they do reach agreement, the fiscal cliff is avoided, and the US economy continues to recover. Will that be enough to help turn the European economy around?
It will certainly, I think. I mean, if you look at the growth forecasts later today, we will actually see the European Commission publishing its new forecasts. And I think when you look at the prospects of the German economy in particular, given that the demand in the rest of Europe is so weak, it is very, very important, actually, what is going on around the euro area. And so I think in China and in the US very in particular. So I think that is a very important factor of what is going on here in Europe, and how also I think the periphery here will benefit, because a stronger Germany, because of a stronger US, will also mean a somewhat better recovery in the periphery.
OK, Tobias, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Well, of course, only one topic on Twitter this morning, so what's the buzz? Let's start with the man of the moment himself, Barack Obama. His campaign team tweeted 4 more years, and this happened because of you. And he himself tweeted, we're all in this together. That's how we campaigned, and that's who we are. Thank you. And this from Ghetto Translations. Obama, O-B-A-M-A, obviously best at managing America. However, a somewhat less than sanguine reaction from Donald Trump. Here's a flavour of what he thought of Obama's victory. We can't let this happen. We should march on Washington and stop this travesty. Let's fight like hell and stop this great and disgusting injustice. The world is laughing at us. Well, Asian markets, the first to get a chance to react to Obama's victory. Reuters' Tara Joseph is in Hong Kong. Tara, how's it looked so far?
Very undramatic, Jamie. After a nail-biting drama in Ohio, there's been a clear lack of drama in the markets over here. What markets really wanted to see was a clear winner. They got it, so it was quite early and quickly and decisive. Asian shares mostly up except for China. The broad brush MSCI ex Japan index ended the day up 0.7%. That's standing at an 8-month high. S&P futures are now moving up as Europe starts to trade on the upside. And we did see treasuries rising as well over here in Asia. It's really the dollar that's seen the bulk of action. It's slipped against a basket of major currencies and the euro. QE2 is really what's in play there. Quantitative easing is expected to continue, and that will put pressure on the greenback. So overall, calm. Now, as we're hearing from your speaker earlier, investors are moving very quickly to focus in on the U.S. fiscal cliff and the challenges that Obama faces in his second term.
And European markets also opening higher, stocks up around 0.5%. And perhaps more importantly, certainly longer term, what's the reaction been so far from Beijing, if any?
Well, we've had no official comment yet, and really the real official comments will start to come out tomorrow morning, Beijing time, in the official media. But the first remarks that we're getting on the ground is really that the Obama victory is continuity, and continuity as far as Beijing is concerned is much better for relations. Mitt Romney's pledge to immediately label China a currency manipulator had people a little bit worried in this part of the world. But the pressure will continue on that bilateral relationship. And with the new leadership coming into China, we'll see lots of fireworks, I'm sure, over the next few months.
OK, Tara, thank you very much. Today's other top stories. Greek MPs vote today on a fresh package of austerity measures and labour reforms. Prime Minister Antonis Samaras expected to secure a narrow win, but Athens is braced for unrest, with thousands of demonstrators expected to converge on Parliament. German Chancellor Angela Merkel arrives in London today, but her talks with David Cameron could be less than cordial. The British Prime Minister today calling EU budget plans ludicrous. Well, that's it for now. Our picture of the day spares a thought for the defeated candidate. Years of campaigning, hundreds of millions of dollars spent, but ultimately 1% or 2 short. What now for Governor Willard Mitt Romney? I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.